I've put together 8 pounds of gear that allows me to survive in the wilderness for over 200 days while also being comfortable. Surviving in the wilderness with only the gear on your back can be tough, especially if you're trying to be lightweight with minimal amounts of gear. Having minimal and lightweight gear will help you avoid being uncomfortable while you're hiking, reduce the likelihood of injuries, and help you cover more miles. This video is sponsored by Garage Growing Gear, the best online store for ultralight outdoor gear. Starting with the pack, we have the Mountainsmith Zerk 40. There's a lot of things that I love about this pack. First of all, the accessibility of items while you're hiking. So it has a ton of pockets. It has side water bottle pockets here, but then there's little pockets on the outside of those pockets where I like to keep snacks and then garbage once the snacks are done. And then you have 2 front pockets on each of the shoulder straps. I keep things like sunscreen in here, as well as my Garmin InReach. And unlike a lot of other packs out there, the side water bottle pockets are actually reachable, even if you have short little T-Rex arms with bad shoulders like I do. I carried this pack for 1,100 kilometers on the Great Divide Trail, and for some sections I had really big food carries, and the pack carried up to 30 pounds no problem. What allows it to do that is these running vest style shoulder straps. It doesn't have a hip belt and really any frame to speak of, just a little bit of a foam backing to it. But these running vest style shoulder straps really help distribute their weight across your chest, which allows you to carry the weight comfortably. As far as the things I keep on the outside of my pack, I have smart water bottles that I use for water. And then in the front shoulder pockets, I have earbuds in one side. I like to use these for listening to podcasts or audiobooks when on kind of boring sections of trail. And then on the other side here, I have my Garmin InReach, which is an SOS device that I use in case of an emergency. And I also use it to check in with loved ones back at home. Then I also have a sunscreen stick in here. I like the sticks because I can just whip it out, rub it all over my face, and then I'm good to go. In the front pocket, I have a bunch of kind of stuff that I need access to throughout the day, but maybe not as critical as other items. I have my water system, so I use a CNOC water bag and then a Platypus quick draw water filter. The Cat 9 Be Free is going to be more lightweight, but for me on the Great Divide Trail it clogged up, whereas the Platypus Quick Draw, I put hundreds and hundreds of liters through this and it's still going strong. I have my tent stakes in this All Man's Right tent stake bag. I like it because it has a really wide opening, which makes grabbing tent stakes easy, and I'm using a mixture of MSR Groundhogs and MSR Groundhog Minis. I have my poop kit in here in this fun poop kit bag, and this is a different system than I used on the Great Divide Trail. I'm using a Bogler trowel. This is a very lightweight trowel with serrated edges, which helps cut through roots. And then I'm using a Kulo Clean portable bidet in order to clean up after going number 2. So that attaches onto a water bottle, and then you use it to direct water at your butt crack in order to clean up. I like to use a little bit of soap while I'm doing this in order to get extra clean. And then to dry up, I'm not using any toilet paper in this system at all. I'm using a Kula cloth for the drying, which was invented for women for after they pee. But I passed it by Kula cloth and they said I can use this no problem after number 2, as long as I'm using soap and cleaning up well. For the soap, I'm using powdered soap from Pika Outdoors. Powdered soap is awesome because it's lightweight and it doesn't freeze. And in these little squirt bottles, it's just really easy to manage as well. If you're interested in any of the gear that we're talking about today, then I'll have links in the description to Garage Growing Gear where you can pick it up. I'm gonna pull my tent and sleep system out of my pack here, get it all set up, and then I'll share with you what that looks like. When going light and minimal, my tent of choice is the Z-Pack's Plex Solo. There's a lot to like about this tent, especially the fact that it's the lightest, fully enclosed tent that you can buy. It uses a trekking pole to provide structure, so no needing to carry a bunch of extra poles in order to set your tent up. It's made with Dyneema composite fabric, and that's why it's so lightweight, but DCF has a lot of other benefits as well. First of all, it doesn't absorb any moisture from rain or condensation, so you can just shake the water off or wipe it down with a cloth, and you're not gonna be carrying any extra water weight when you're out on trail. It's also surprisingly roomy. I can spend day after day in this tent and not feel like I'm cramped. Even when it's raining hard and I'm having to just really hunker down in it, I never feel claustrophobic or like I don't have enough space. A tent that uses 2 trekking poles would be a little bit more spacious, but I like 1 pole trekking pole tents because if one of my poles breaks, I still have my other pole in order to set up my tent. And even though I'm using a minimal setup, I still want a little bit of redundancy for those key items. Starting on the bottom for my sleep system, my sleeping pad is the Thermarest X-Lite NXT. So this is the square, regular, wide version, super comfortable to lay on. With the new NXT version, they reduce the noise by 80% and it's noticeable. This is a very quiet pad relative to the old X-Lite. With the X-Lite, you're also getting the best warmth to weight ratio out of any pad on the market. It's half the weight of other pads with similar R values. For my top insulation, I'm using a backpacking quilt. This is the Enlighten Equipment Enigma. So quilts have an opened bottom to them, so you sleep directly on the sleeping pad, and then the quilt attaches to the sleeping pad with pad straps in order to prevent drafts. It's a very lightweight way to go, but also is very warm. Because you don't have the full cocoon of a sleeping bag, you're saving a lot of weight with a quilt. This quilt in particular also is made with very lightweight materials, 7 denier shell fabric, and then 950 power fill down. I have the 20° Fahrenheit version here, and as far as I know, this is the lightest weight quilt that you can build. Even though I'm going minimal and lightweight, I still prefer to be comfortable while out on trail, and for that reason I use the Trekology 2.0 pillow. This pillow is super comfortable, weighs under 100 grams, and then has a pad strap in order to lock it onto your sleeping pad. In this blue stuff sack, I keep a bunch of different ditties. This is this little stuff that I need more in the evenings. I have a toothbrush here. This is a pretty ridiculous ultralight toothbrush. You just pinch it between your thumb and your forefinger and you can brush your teeth. It's super lightweight and a full-size toothbrush, so you can't beat that. Garage Growing Gear will often send you one of these toothbrushes for free with any order that you make. So if you order often from Garage Growing Gear like I do, then you may never have to buy another toothbrush again. I like to use these toothpaste tabs. So you just chew these up and then brush like normal, and they work really well. They're lightweight, and it's very easy to allocate how many you need for a trip. So if I'm going on a 6-day trip, then I know that I'll probably need 12 of these little tabs. As opposed to using those little tubes of toothpaste, you never really know how many you need. I also have all of my daily drugs in here, lip chap, and then for a flashlight, I'm using the Rovivon A5X. So this is rechargeable and it uses USB-C. All of my devices now use USB-C, which is awesome. And I can just use this in order to shine a light, as well as it clips onto my hat. So I can just clip it on there and then I can use it hands-free. I have my earplugs in here. I like to plug up my ears just in case I'm in a crowded campsite. And then I also have a little thermometer that has a compass on it. I like to be able to see what the temperature is outside, and then the compass is just handy to have in case I get lost. If I'm doing a through hike and I need to be recharging my electronics when in a town, then I'll carry this Spigen wall charger. It has 2 USB slots. It charges very fast at 45 watts total, and then it has this folding plug which just makes it really easy to store. And then I'll use an ultralight Anchor carbon fiber power bank. So this is the 5,000 milliamp hour one. I'll bump that up to 10,000 or maybe even 2 10,000 ones depending on the length of the trip. I find that for about a week, a 10,000 one is good for 2 to 3 days, and the 5,000 one is good. And then I have these little lightweight cables from Anchor. They're only 1 foot long, so super lightweight, and they charge all my devices no problem. In order to wipe condensation from the inside of my tent or rain from the outside of my tent in order to save weight, and sometimes to bathe my body, I carry a cut down piece of Swedish cloth. It's hyper absorbent, but then you can also squeeze pretty much all of the water out of it really easily. It's a much better option than a lot of the camping or backpacking specific towels and cloths that are out there. If you're looking to pick up some minimalist or ultralight gear for backpacking, travel, or even everyday carry, then definitely go check out Garage Growing Gear. They're such a cool store, and one of my favorite things about them is that you can pick up gear that you can't find anywhere else on the internet. Things like the Bogler trowel, that Allman's Right steak sack, and the toothpaste tabs as well. And if you're heading out on a backpacking trip like I am right now, then you can outfit yourself with everything that you need at Garage Growing Gear. Basically all the gear that I used on this trip and that I showed you in this video is from Garage Growing Gear. For clothing, it's really going to depend on the trip that you go on, but for 3-season use in temperatures that are down to about freezing, maybe a little bit below, I do have some go-tos. First of all, we have these fleece pants from Decathlon. These are just super lightweight, very warm. I often won't wear these, but they're really nice to have if the temperature does drop below freezing. And then I have my Decathlon Trek 100 down jacket. I've been using some other insulated jackets out there that are maybe a little bit less weight or maybe a little bit warmer, but the Trek 100, you just can't beat the value, and I love taking this out because I don't have to worry about wrecking it if I do, even though I've had the same one for about 3 or 4 years now. And then I have a couple other items here. I have a sleep shirt. This is just a merino wool lightweight shirt that I sleep in, and then I have a merino wool toque, and then some merino wool socks. These are actually quarter-length socks to save a little bit of weight. For a rain jacket, I'm using the Decathlon FH500. It's a very lightweight rain jacket and it does the job. It's nothing special, but it's gonna keep you dry in the rain, and that's all that matters. My cook system is pretty minimal. It doesn't really get any more minimal than this. I have this food bag from Hilltop Packs. I have a mini Bic lighter in order to light my stove. And then I have this little pot. It's 550 milliliters from Tokes, and inside there I keep a BRS 3000 stove and then a canister. In total, the pot and the stove weigh less than 100 grams, so it's a very lightweight, easy to use system, and 550 milliliters is perfect for any freeze-dried meals that I might be eating. And then to top it all off, I have the pink titanium spoon, which not only makes food taste better, but it also makes all of the weight inside of my pack, even though it is minimal and lightweight, feel even lighter. For everything that I want to keep dry inside the pack, I put it inside this Nyloflume pack liner. So this is a waterproof liner that I put things like my quilt, my sleeping pad, and all my clothes in. I press it all down, twist up the top, and then tuck that down the side of the bag, and that creates a nice waterproof barrier for all my dry stuff. Go check out this video if you want to learn a little bit more about the Thermarest X-Lite NXT. Thermarest really addresses a lot of the issues that people had with the previous X-Lite, and there's a lot of cool features and technologies that they're building into the NXT.